Hi everyone, how's everybody doing today? Um, it's a very niche topic today, so it's very exciting to have people join us today. Please in the comments tell us where you are from, what the weather is like. Tell us what kind of genre you have published in before, if you have published before, and what you're interested in. We always like to know, what kind of what our audience are into as well. So please drop that in the comments, and then we can have a little bit of a chat about that as well. So we have someone from Belgium. Oh, that's amazing. Um, I actually had a friend from Belgium. I'm in South Africa myself, so everything outside of South Africa is very interesting to me. Yeah, no, Belgium. That's awesome. You Belgium, you speak, what is it? It's not a Flemish in Belgium, correct? I speak Afrikaans, so it's a little bit similar. We have some. Alles gaan goed met my, dankie, en met jou. We have some from Canada, from Ontario actually. We're based in Canada. Our headquarters basically is in Canada. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Australia. Oh, isn't it very early for you in Australia? I know the times. Oh gosh, it's either very early or very late currently for you. So thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to give it about another 3 or so minutes. I usually like to give about 5 minutes just for everybody to join. Um, to make sure that everybody with the links, sometimes people are having issues with links, so just giving them a little bit of time to join us today. 3 a.m. Oh gosh, I'm a night owl, and 3 a.m. is still too late for me. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. Lots of coffee. No, I can definitely understand that, especially if you have work in the morning and stuff too. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks again for joining us. Alrighty. New York. It's amazing. Bay Shore. Hmm. So, yeah, so currently we have people from Europe, we have people from Australia, from Oceania, we have Africa, and then America as well. That's awesome. Um, yeah. Oh, Chris, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's so exciting to see your story come to life. Once you get started, it's nerve wracking getting started, but once you get to the end, it is so super exciting. So very excited for you for that. Alrighty, we'll give it another couple of seconds, and then we can dive right in. Okay, I think we can get started. So we can bring up our slides that we have created for the webinar as well, and then we can get going. Well, before we get started, we actually want to share something with you guys. Of course, it was Christmas over December, and we had our year-end function, and we had a little video created for that as well. So we're going to pop that on the screen to share that with you guys as well.
As we gather tonight to celebrate this festive season and the accomplishments of our team, I'm reminded of a powerful quote. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrificing, and most importantly, loving what you're doing. Success is not a destination, but a journey. It is the result of embracing failure as lessons, working hard, and never losing sight of your dreams. These words resonate deeply with our team's journey throughout the years. We have faced challenges, embraced opportunities, and worked tirelessly to achieve our goals. On behalf of the entire company, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you. Your hard work, dedication, and enthusiasm have contributed to our success, and I'm honored to be on this incredible journey with you. Leaders build teams, and teams build businesses, and you are all the driving force behind the success and growth of Dibbly. So let's get it. Thank you.
This company was built from a dream for creating something different, something better, a dream to forever change the space and make an impact. So I say to keep dreaming, because nothing in life is possible without it. 2024 is going to be a really big year for us. We have ambitious goals, software launches, Dibbly launching, so many KIP improvements. KIP's going to be everywhere. So many opportunities and a ton of growth. Let's raise a glass to making 2024 the best year yet, and to make it the year where we make big, ambitious dreams, for nothing can be created if we don't dream first. Cheers.
There we go. Okay. That was the wise words of our founders, Mark and Natasha Moutinho. They're absolutely awesome. I'm also going to take you a little bit through TW's history, just a little brief history when we go through the webinar. So we can get started. Now, first of all, everybody, welcome at the webinar. We are very, very excited to launch this specific one. It's something that we have been working on for a while, yeah, let's get right into it. Now, my name is Michaela. I'm the Senior Sales Representative here at the Urban Writers. I've been at the Urban Writers for 4.5 years, going on 5 years. I've written over 270 books myself, specializing in both fiction and nonfiction. Fiction, usually fantasy and romance, a little bit of a dark romance on the side as well. Yeah, I've been a ghostwriter for over 7 years as well. So I'm very well versed in the world of ghostwriting. Now, a little bit about the Urban Writers. The Urban Writers was founded in 2018 by Natasha and Marco Moutinho. We started with a handful of people. We had external editors. We only had writers at that point, and we only did fiction. And from there, we've grown from 10 writers to 5,000 talents on the platform that you can choose from and you can work with. This includes narrators, writers, editors, illustrators, designers, anything you can think of with content creation. Basically, we can do almost all of it. We have also written over 1 billion words, and we have over 20,000 satisfied customers at the moment as well. So we've grown exponentially in the past couple of years, and 2024 is the year to just keep growing. Now, the agenda for today. We're going to go through why you should consider doing dark romance. We are also going to go over what makes a good dark romance book. We're going to go over challenges and tips that you might face when you are publishing and when you are getting it written or even writing it yourself. And then we will have a little Q&A section at the very end. So first we're going to just take you over what's next, what the next webinar that's coming, and then we'll have a Q&A section. So please, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, pop it in the comments. At the very end, we will go through as many as we possibly can. If we don't get to you, we will be answering them after the webinar as well. We will DM you, or we'll reply to your comments, and you're always welcome to reach out to us as well, and we'll have the contact information at the very end too. Now, an important message is that dark romance is a very sensitive topic and deals with specific niches and tropes that might be triggering to some people. So that is something to note from the get-go. We might be touching on some triggering topics in this webinar. So if anything is triggering you at any point, please, you can mute. You can leave the webinar. That is no problem. Nobody will take any offense. I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that dark romance is a sensitive topic. Now, why you should be doing dark romance books. First of all, the BookTok market. If you're on TikTok, you know BookTok is massive, and the leading trope in BookTok is dark romance. It is an absolute, it's a winner on TikTok. So if you can get into TikTok, if you have a good dark romance book written, you can get into TikTok. Chances are you are definitely going to get some readers. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to spend millions on marketing. If you get into TikTok, if you can get some book talkers to even talk about your book, it's a massive market to get into. Now, then we have adaptation potential. A lot of dark romance books currently are being adapted into series, into books, or into series, into movies as well. And a lot of people are also making music around dark romance and the dark romance niche. On TikTok specifically, there's a plethora of artists that are making music around dark romance books, which again, it does marketing for you, and it sheds a lot of light on the genre itself. So the adaptation potential is definitely there as well. Next up, we do have endless possibilities. There are hundreds of tropes that you can choose from within this niche. It's again hundreds. There are all of these niches, and then there are the reverse versions of those niches as well. So where, for example, if it's alpha male, you have reverse, which is alpha female kind of niches as well. So you don't just have to focus on one niche. There are so many to choose from, and you can pull all of those together to make a unique book. So the possibilities are really, really endless. You can do contemporary, you can do paranormal, you can do fantasy, dark romance, branches into every other niche and every other genre. And it's basic. You can think of it as a sub-genre of sorts. Next up, you have global reach. Everybody around the world reads dark romance books. It's one of those guilty pleasure books. Not everybody might put on display that they are reading dark romance books, but that is why Kindle is so fantastic, and that is why dark romance is so popular as ebooks. In some cases, dark romance can be even more popular as ebooks than paperbacks, because it's very discreet. So a global just reaching everybody everywhere, and other people don't really need to know that they're reading those books either. So the reach that you can get with dark romance is absolutely fantastic. Then there are also great for audiobooks. If you can get a fantastic voice actor, you are going to have customers. Most definitely, you are going to have a clientele. If you can get the perfect voice actor to voice your book, you're sorted. You really, really are. Great audiobooks in the dark romance niche, they are very difficult to come by because not all narrators feel comfortable with doing these sorts of narrations. And when, especially if you are getting narrators from ACX, for example, not everybody is comfortable with connecting their voice to that specific genre. Where if you're doing something like if you're using one of our narrators, for example, they are more lenient towards actually doing content like that. And if you can get a good audiobook narrator, it is absolutely fantastic. It's the same kind of thing with the Kindle, with the digital version. It is very discreet. If you have your AirPods in, nobody can hear you. You can hear anything that's going on. So yeah, that is definitely something to look out for. It has very, very big potential for audiobooks. Alrighty, next slide. What makes a good dark romance book? So first off, profound themes. This is themes that might be triggering to some people or that might be a little bit out there. These themes, people are reading dark romance for these themes specifically. So if a dark romance book can have something like what was the topic? It was like a stalker romance, for example. That is a very profound, very out there theme. But dark romance readers want books like that. You need a theme that's very dark, that kind of can give you chills in some cases. And it's one of the most popular books at the moment is a book called Haunting Adeline, which is it is super super dark. It's one of the darkest dark romance books at the moment, but it's super popular, and it is a dark romance. Well, not dark romance. It's a stalker romance. So it's very very important to keep those profound themes. Don't shy away from them. Make sure that you do have them. Then appealing to dark desires and fantasies. Now, just because people like certain things in books does not mean that they like it in general in real life. They want to experience that through a character because stalker romance, for example, it's alluring to some people, but in real life, you do not want a stalker. So it is you want to kind of dive into those fantasies and make sure that those fantasies are fulfilled through the book. So if your book can do that and it can focus on certain fantasies that other books might not fulfill, or movies or series or anything like that, if there are certain niches and certain gaps in the genre, if your book can fill those gaps and fulfill those needs and fantasies, that you're absolutely golden. Okay, next up we have conflict and tension. With any book, any fiction book, you want your characters to have conflict and you need there to be tension throughout the book. You don't want to bore the reader at any point either. So you need to make sure that, okay, there is tension. The Maybe the two main characters really dislike each other. Maybe they were friends and they had fights, and now they have to kind of build up that friendship again and become a little bit more after that as well. There needs to be appeal between the two characters. They need to lust for each other. It is a dark romance book after all. There are going to be a bunch of explicit scenes within the book. It's a very erotic book, but you also do need to remember that there needs to be tension. It can't just be explicit scenes. You need to have a story, a good story around it as well. A good rule of thumb that I always write with and what I always keep in mind is that the romance should be secondary. You need a story and then you can add romance to it. So, for example, it could be a murder mystery. Somebody's friend died and they're looking for the killer, and during their investigation, that is the main story. during that investigation, they can then go and fall in love with somebody that they're actually roped into helping with the investigation. So it is very important to keep that story. It can't just, the book shouldn't just hinge on explicit scenes and romance, because that is going to seem very, very forced, and that does put readers off. Next, we have great characters. If a reader does not like a character, they are not going to want to read your book. In most cases, dark romance, it focuses on a female audience. And with that, they want attractive male protagonists. In some cases, the main male lead might not be the protagonist, and might be the antagonist. But either way, those main characters need to be relatable. They need to be brooding. They need to be alluring. They need to be sexy. Usually the main male character is going to be dark and brooding and dark hair and tattoos and just all around a rough exterior. And that is what people in the genre do want. They want that male main character that you don't find in general, you don't find in real life. That is why they read the books. You might not want it because it's very toxic, but in a book, that is what they're looking for. And then realistic and intense emotional stakes. This does tie in to having conflict and tension. You want it to be realistic. You can't have romance and not have emotions tied to it. You want there to be actual stakes to this relationship. You want there to be, if they are in this relationship, you want there to be consequences for that relationship, or what they did in the past to have consequences right now on that actual relationship. So it is very, very important to have those realistic ideas in your head as well when you are writing it, or when you are creating an outline for dark romance, that you do have those elements in there as well. Don't just focus on the smut. Okay, then we have the popular themes and tropes. These are the top 10 tropes that are very, very popular at the moment. So when you are deciding on doing a dark romance book, consider some of these tropes. You can always merge them together as well. You don't just have to choose one, you can choose multiple ones. So let's go through them. We have forbidden love, think Romeo and Juliet. We have redemption. One character hurt the other character, or maybe it's a bully romance, that kind of thing. We also have alpha male, so that is the really possessive, obsessive kind of male main character with the dark history, or the dark past. You want alpha male is super, super popular. And if you go onto Book Talk, every single book has an alpha male in it. Then we have dubious consent. That is a little bit of a triggering topic, but it is something that a lot of people are interested in reading. This is number 4 on the list for a reason. It is very, very popular. In some cases, a more realistic or a more relatable term for it is consensual non-consent, which means that it's more, what's the word? Oh my goodness, it's primal play. Basically, it's where the main character pretends not to consent to something, but they actually do. The book makes it clear that they are consenting to certain situations. Then we have captive dynamic, pretty straightforward. Revenge and retribution. We have twisted and dark pasts. We all love a damaged character. And we have enemies to lovers. This can also tie into a bully romance, for example. We have obsessive love. This ties into stalker romances. And then we have BDSM as well, which is, thanks to 50 Shades of Grey, is a very, very popular trope at the moment as well. Well, it's been popular since, I believe, 2016, 2015, when 50 Shades of Grey the movie came out. So yeah, it's super popular. Definitely mix and match your tropes as well. Don't just put yourself in a box with one of them. Definitely go ahead and just check if you want to have multiple ones and how you can make those unique. Okay. Next up, we have challenges and tips. Now, the first challenge that you are going to face is navigating sensitive themes. Again, this consensual non-consent, abuse, um, alcohol abuse, drug problems, all those sorts of things. Everything is relevant in dark romance. No topic is off limits in dark romance. So it is up to the writer to navigate those specific topics in an ethical way, if that makes sense. Although the issues, the topics might not be ethical in certain scenarios, it is still the writer's job to write about it tastefully. They can't just go in blindly and trigger left, right, and center. It needs to be done tastefully. Then expect negative reviews. People do not read trigger warnings. Now, if you are going to do a dark romance book, you need to add a trigger warning list to your book if there are triggers in it. Even if it's a dark childhood, if it's abuse of any kind, you need to put that trigger warning in it. Some people do not read the trigger warnings. They're going to read your book and they're going to leave you a negative review because they did not see the trigger warnings, because they did not care to read it. So definitely expect negative reviews. Most of the time, people who read dark romance, they are super loyal to the author, and they will always give good reviews. But with dark romance, definitely make sure to expect negative reviews from people who did not read your trigger warnings, people that don't understand the content. Dark romance is a very finicky niche to go into. If done right, it's absolutely fantastic. It can be very popular, but it is also a triggering niche. So some people might not like it as much as others. Okay, next up we have take advantage of book talk. Again, it popped up again. Book talk is super popular. Definitely take advantage of it. Reach out to creators, tell them about your book, send them free copies of your book as well. And then from there, you can say, okay, listen, read this book, be a beta reader, give your review on Book Talk. They have thousands and thousands of followers. You need one person to give a good review of your book, and you're going to have a following. Next, we have market competition and saturation. Dark romance is very popular. It's a very popular niche, which means that a lot of people are publishing in the dark romance niche as well. The key is to be unique. I've said this in other webinars before as well. With any popular topic, there are going to be thousands of books within that topic, and your job is to be unique. Now, this can be mixing and matching tropes. It can be your style of writing. It can be your characters. You just need to make sure that your book is unique. Fall into the don't fall into the shadows where everybody is writing about alpha werewolf, supernatural, dark romance. It's been done 1,000 times before. Yes, it is popular, but if people need to still find your book. So if your book is in that specific niche with thousands of books, chances are they're not going to find your book when they're scrolling through Amazon. They are going to go for the one that has the most views or the most reviews, the most buys. They're not going to go for the ones that don't have any sales yet. So check your niches, make sure that you are doing something that is popular, but maybe choose something that's a little bit more obscure, something that isn't done a lot. It's definitely worth doing your research in these cases. Then we have model after popular books. A very good suggestion is again Haunting Adeline. There was another book that modeled Haunting Adeline called, oh gosh, it was called, was it I believe it was called Pray Tell. No, it wasn't Pray Tell, it was something else. But there was a very, very popular book that actually modeled Haunting Adeline as well. It was the author came out saying that they have modeled it, and it was a massive success. And it isn't modeling does not mean that you're copying it. It means that you're taking inspiration from it. So, for example, Haunting Adeline is a stalker romance. The other book was a stalker romance as well. But instead of the main character being an author, like in Haunting Adeline, the main character is a lifeguard. And this lifeguard is maybe she looks completely different. The stories are completely different, but the main elements are still there. You still have the stalker, you still have the obsessive love, you still have the explicit scenes that might be a little bit disturbing. Again, modeling does not mean that you have to copy it. It just means that you're taking inspiration from popular books and creating something unique from there. And then audiobooks. As I mentioned before, audiobooks are, it has great potential with audiobooks. Dark romance is awesome. It's absolutely awesome for audiobooks. So definitely go ahead and check out audiobooks when you are posting or when you are publishing. Publish, keeping in mind that you do need an audiobook. It goes hand in hand. You're going to open yourself up for larger markets if you do audiobooks and you do ebooks, and of course paperbacks as well. But definitely ebooks and audiobooks are your biggest market that you want to go with. Alrighty. So finally, we have our next webinar will be our International Language Day. The time and date will still be it will still be confirmed. But basically, we will go over why you should consider translating your book into different languages, what makes for a good translated book, what kind of translations you need to look at. We're also going to go through challenges and tips, and then tell you what's next after that as well, and then a Q&A as usual. It basically follows the same structure, but definitely translating your book is fantastic no matter the niche that you are reading or writing in. So definitely do check out that webinar. It's going to be awesome. Alrighty, and then we have our Q&A. Again, if anybody has any questions, please pop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. You're also more than welcome to reach out to us at sales@dibley.com. You can email us at any point. You can start a live chat, or you can give us a call. You can get all of these details at www.theurbanwriters.com. Just click on contact us and you'll have all of our contact information. So if you can't think of anything yet during this time, please do go ahead, send us an email, give us a call. We're more than happy to assist you with any questions you might have. Okay, question number 1. How do I choose a niche? This is it's a difficult question to answer because it is completely up to you. You need to be the one to decide what niche you are comfortable with publishing. You need to make sure that, okay, these are niches that are popular. This is what I'm comfortable with. This is what we can go with. If you are writing it yourself, even if you are getting it ghostwritten, you need to be comfortable with the niche that you choose. You need to still read your book. You still need to do the marketing for your book, and you need to be confident in your book. So if you do not have, if you're uncomfortable with any of the niches or topics, definitely maybe change your niche or topic. There are so many to choose from. There won't be a shortage of niches for you to choose from. Alrighty. How do I handle triggering topics? I mentioned earlier that you do need to add trigger warnings, whether it is a website. So a lot of books at the very beginning of the book, they have a little forewarning and they give the link to their website where they can find and buy the book separately as well. and there they can find blogs and they can find all of the trigger warnings in those books. Sometimes if they have multiple books in a series, they have all of the trigger warnings for all of the books in that on that specific page, on that link. So they just put that link in all of their books. You also do have the option to add a list of trigger warnings. So it doesn't need to be a website. You don't have to create a whole website if you don't have one. But definitely do add a list of trigger warnings as well, just to make sure that your readers know exactly what they're getting themselves into, because dark romance is a very triggering topic and genre in general. Okay, how do I choose between teen romance and dark romance? Now, these are two very different audiences. Sure, there are some cases where they do overlap, but in most cases they do not. People who read romance don't like dark romance and vice versa. This is again something that you need to be comfortable with. If you're uncomfortable with dark romance, do clean romance. If it doesn't bother you, go try. You can even try both as well. You don't need to stick with one specific genre at any point. You can swap, especially genre. Clean romance and dark romance they're both still romance. And if you as the author can go ahead and write in different romance genres and publish in different romance genres and see which is more popular and build out from there. So it is completely up to you what you're most popular, what you are most comfortable with. But again, go with what's popular. Go with what you feel like, what you feel like doing. Just know that you need to choose your niches and your tropes properly when you do go into dark romance, even clean romance. But I'm rambling. Either way, it is completely up to you. Okay, how do I decide which books to model? A very good thing to do is to head on to Amazon, go to books and browse dark romance. See what the most popular ones are, see their reviews, and then just see, okay, how many books in this genre are there? If it's, for example, stalker romance, how many books are there? If there are 20, 30, 50,000 books in that genre, maybe go on to the next where there are fewer books in that genre, and then decide from there. So you do need to go in and check which books are popular and then model from there. We also do have Dibbly Create at the moment. So it's a monthly subscription where this app, basically this software, it does allow you to do market research as well. So you can go in with Kip. It's a little AI helper. You can ask Kip to assist you with doing market research, choosing which books to model. Any research that you want to do on this topic specifically, you can do in Dibbly Create. So we'll add a link to Dibbly Create, which you can just click on. You can go to the website and you can check it out as well. It is great. There is a free trial that you can try with it as well. And after that, it is $90.99, I believe, per month after that, but you can cancel at any point. So definitely check it out, especially if you are a writer yourself as well and you want to do that research and have that assistance. Definitely give Dibbly Create a go. And then, how dark is too dark? Now, this is a very an interesting question. There are a lot of dark books, very dark books on Amazon and KDP. The thing is, some books can be too dark, and then KDP will refuse to publish it. So you do need to make sure that, for example, the characters are of legal consenting age, for example. If they are not, then your book is going to be flagged. It's not going to be published. They're not going to allow you to publish. So check out the laws, check out KDP guidelines. But there are some very dark books on Amazon already, and which have gone through these specific guidelines and have kind of treaded the edge of it. Haunting Adeline being one of it. At one point, it was banned off of Amazon, but it was picked up again. So make sure to just check your Amazon guidelines. But in some cases, it's more up to you what's too dark, what you are comfortable with publishing. So yeah, those are the only questions. Okay, there we go. What are the challenges in marketing dark romance with the genre having explicit content? Now, the marketing aspects of things, you basically approach it like you approach all of your marketing. You have your set audience that you do need to focus on. Again, TikTok is absolutely fantastic for this. It only gets recommended to the people that like dark romance books, for example. Same goes with YouTube. Same goes with your Instagram, Facebook, whatever other social media marketing that you want to do. The only thing is that when you do, for example, if you do little snippets of your book, you don't want to have explicit scenes in those snippets that you are marketing. Rather, go say, okay, when the shadow that you've seen since college turns out to be your stalker, that this and this and this and this happens, instead of having that specific explicit scene where they meet or they have that kind of intimate interaction. So there is some ways to go about it. Usually, just go about how you would usually market your book. Again, Dibbly Create is amazing for this to do some research on how to market your book. But personally, I'd go about marketing it normally and just making sure that you aren't using that explicit content, making sure that you have all of the right tags on the messages that you're sending through as well. Okay, are there any particular considerations regarding dark romance on Amazon, especially? Okay, any flags? Um, so as mentioned before, Amazon does have guidelines. So one of the guidelines that I know they're very, very strict on is the characters need to be of consenting age. So you need to make sure that that is it is abided by. However, things like non-consent content, that's it's a very gray area with Amazon, and as long as the characters are of consenting age, usually they don't have a problem with it. But again, just to make sure, go and read Amazon's guidelines just to make 100% sure. They update it all the time, so I can't tell you specifically what's going to be accepted right now, what's going to be accepted in 10 years' time. So just make sure that you are staying up to date with their guidelines. Um, okay, an inquiry. Would a flawed or anti-hero be relative to the alpha male character? Yes, it would. Most of the dark romance niche, especially if you're looking at something like a paranormal romance or a fantasy, where it is the actual anti-hero, where it's a vampire king who needs to take women out of their villages every year and blah 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 blah. Um, that is the alpha male character. That is even if it is the anti-hero, the antagonist, they are still going to be the anti-hero because that is going to be the person that they end up with. Even if it's not the person that they end up with, if there is any kind of intimate scenes with that specific character, if they're alpha male, that is going to fall into that category as well. You can have multiple characters with multiple niches, basically. So you can have the golden retriever boy, you can have the damaged bad boy, you can have the bully, you can have the alpha male. You can have four of them, and if that your character has intimate relations with all of them, that does mean that you are basically touching on all of those different niches, technically. So yes, to your question, yes, it does fall into that character category. Okay. Many platforms have restrictions when it comes to the subject. Even when I tried to find ghostwriter for BDSM, I was denied access on Upwork. Challenging. Yes. So it is definitely it is a very challenging topic and a challenging niche to go into. It's when you are searching for a ghostwriter or you are searching for um, when you are publishing as well, you need to make sure that you are abiding by that specific platform's guidelines when you are uploading that content, or if you are posting your project and you want people to work on your book, you need to be very upfront with everything that you are what you do want included in your book. With the urban writers, for example, we require you to say to tick boxes saying yes, this contains explicit content. Yes, this contains not safe for work content. Yes, this contains triggering or sensitive topics. You need to select those, and people will then be able to see, okay, this is what kind of book this is going to be. If this is going to trigger them, move on. If it's not, they can hop in and they can grab that book. So on the urban writers, we don't really have any of those restrictions. You won't be banned for something like that. Of course, if it's very messed up, there are some topics that you just don't write about or you don't want to make a profit of. Um, some some forms of abuse is just too much, and people who want to read something like that as well would be able to find it on fan fiction or on other websites where they can find stuff like that for free, which is because it can't be published. Some topics just cannot be published, and those sorts of topics we don't want our ghostwriters to have to write either. And that's the same with any other ghostwriting platform as well. So dark romance is getting a lot more popular. People are wanting to have a lot more dark romance books written. So it is going to get better. It's going to get a little bit easier. But for the time being, just make sure that you are abiding by all of the rules that they are setting out. Okay. What would push a dark romance into a horror genre? Are these completely separate, different, or are there some overlap? There is a lot of overlap between horror and dark romance. Most cases, I can tell you 70% of dark romance touches on horror. Coming back again to Haunting Adeline. Haunting Adeline is 50% horror, 50% dark romance. It is very messed up. It is very scary. I had goosebumps the entire time I was reading it. It's it's a very very provocative and very thought provoking concept. So horror is very it does overlap a lot with dark romance, and if you can execute it properly to have both of those um, both of those genres in this, yeah, it's you're good to go. A lot of people are looking for both dark romance and horror. Yeah. Okay, so we that is all we do have time for at the moment. If we didn't get to your questions, please reach out to us. Again, you can go to www.theurbanwriters.com, click on contact us, and you'll get all of our contact information there. You can email us, you can give us a call, or we can even live chat with us. We're more than happy to assist you with any questions that you might have. We also do have something awesome for you to download. If you did not get the email, we did create a strategic planning calendar. So it's basically your blueprint for success in 2024. So go ahead, click on that. You can download it. It will be shared in the comments. The link will be shared in the comments as well. This is just a guide to show you when to publish what kinds of books, when what is popular, yeah, and how to utilize all of the different holidays that are happening this year as well. Yeah, so thank you so much everybody for joining today. If you have any questions, again, let us know. We're happy to assist you with anything. And if you want to book a demo call, you can do that on the platform as well, on the website as well. And we can definitely hop on a video call and we can go over everything as well. But yeah, have an absolutely wonderful day ahead. I hope everybody from all over the world actually gets some sleep. I believe somebody was from Australia, so it's 4 a.m. for you now. So go ahead, get some sleep, and have an absolutely wonderful day.